missed you all at Seabreeze last Friday. I'd like to start off by thanking all of my teachers, coaches, peers, and of course my family, who've guided me through these past 13 years. I truly would not be standing before you all today if it weren't for all the support I've received. But sometimes what's more important are the people who don't support you 100% of the time. There have been races where for whatever reason I'm way behind where I'm supposed to be, and with 200 meters to go, I still hear my mom yelling, "You're doing great, Ryan. Keep it up." By that point, what's going through my head is, with all due respect, Mom, please shut up. Now, don't get me wrong. It is important to have people in your life who will always support you and encourage you no matter what. But we all know that the world isn't a place of constant happiness and positivity. And you've got to accept this and find the people who will tell it to you like it is so that you can work on improving yourself and pursue a world of happiness. It's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. You can't listen to everyone, and you absolutely cannot satisfy everyone. So where do you start? I recently watched a short video of a social experiment where a teacher left her second grade class alone on their Zoom meeting and recorded what followed. Almost immediately, a girl points out to the class that the meeting's being recorded, and a boy says, "Uh-oh, we're toast." Granted, nothing has even happened yet, so I don't know what this kid's actually talking about. Maybe he's already figured out how to do Zoom school, which, side note, has higher attendance rates for ceiling fans than for kids themselves. And if he's smart, he's got Among Us open on his dual monitor. Anyways, a girl blurts out, "Toast with eggs," to which someone else follows up, "with lettuce." At this point, I'm wondering what the heck I clicked on when a boy unmutes and basically screams into his microphone, "I'm just gonna mute because I don't want to talk." At this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, this kid's gonna look for some deeper meaning to this video and try to connect it to our lives. And you're 100% correct. These second graders do not care at all what anybody thinks of them. They speak their minds without fear of judgment, and they do it with complete confidence. Now, the "I don't care what anybody thinks of me" attitude can become problematic in the real world. Like, I'd rank it on the list of top 10 worst possible pickup lines ever, a close second to, "Are you a 0% APR loan? Because I'm having trouble understanding your terms, and you aren't showing any interest." Come on. But on a more serious note, you do need to care what some people think. The problem is, as we grow older, we tend to become the opposite of these second graders, and many of us find ourselves caring what everybody thinks. Who we hang out with, what we wear, what we're interested in, etc. And eventually you hit a dead end, because there will always be people who critique you, just like there are always people who support you unconditionally. To make it somewhere in this world, you've got to be aware of the people whose opinions you value, and then be able to emphasize them over the plethora of other voices you feel compelled to listen to. And it's not like you're going to find some guru who knows all the answers, but you certainly will come across a lot of people who think they do. Some people have more experience in realms than others, so it's in your best interest to have a mix of people you look to. Like, you would never consider asking your driver's test evaluator for their advice on an upcoming Algebra 2 exam, so why do you care what 100 people that you never see outside of the school that you're required to go with think about who you're sitting with at lunch? Take some time for yourself to think about the people who matter to you, the people who you want to see you succeed, who you feel like you've let down when you haven't made the right decisions, and those are the people you care about. Those are the people you should listen to. This contemplation will make your life so much simpler, and again, that doesn't mean easy, but to progress in literally any facet of life, you must first simplify the problem, and then you can start working towards a solution. There's a cliche out there that I don't think gets the respect it deserves. It's an incredible observation, and it holds so much weight in its words. You're more like the 5 people closest to you today than you are to yourself from 5 years ago. I'll say that again. You're more like the 5 people closest to you today than you are to yourself from 5 years ago. This is remarkably accurate, and it goes to show that we adjust our behavior and even our personalities to mesh with those around us whom we spend time with. This is exactly the same case with identifying the people whose opinions of us we care about most. Those are the people who will shape who we are and who we will become. I'll leave you with that in mind, but before I go, I'd like to personally thank a few of the most influential people in my life. First of all my family, especially Mom, Dad, Sean, Kate, Liam. You guys deal with me every day. I can't even imagine. Mr. Mark Borden, Mr. Bernie Gardner, Mr. Pat Higgins, and I know he's out there. Sorry, Mason W., for the embarrassment. Mr. Rick Wansenreed. You've all had more of an impact on me than you could ever come to know. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And last but not least, Candace. With that, I'll hand things over to the true smartest person in the grade and best friend of mine through the years, Mason Bulling. Class of 2021, it's been good.
Now, Ryan, I know who Sean, Kate, Liam, your mom, and your dad are, but who is Candace and what kind of impact did she have on you? You'll have to let me know later. It has been quite a long but enjoyable 14 years with all of you. And no, I did not do the math wrong. I've been in school for 14 years. I was held back, and I'm still trying to figure out who was responsible for that. I'm truly humbled to have received such a title, and trust me when I say truly humbled. It took being salutatorian just to realize how many people cannot pronounce the word salutatorian. But aside the many botched pronunciations, I'm incredibly grateful and honored. Now, I've been told that second place is simply first loser, but I think we all learned from a young age that first is the worst, second is the best, third is the one with the treasure chest, and so on. I will live and die by those words if I have to. In writing this speech, I really had to contemplate what to speak about. And instead of searching for some far out, extraneous theme, I decided to speak about mastery. What is mastery? How is it achieved? Why should I even care? Mastery is the zenith of power and ability in a certain subject, a concept so simple, yet so overlooked. Now, whether you're aware of it or not, every day you are working to achieve mastery somehow in some field. To achieve mastery, you must have the intuition to learn and the means to do so. A big part of this arises by learning from others, but instead of learning to be exactly like others, you must transform those learnings to fit yourself and make something better of it. Throughout my life, most forms of mastery that I have achieved were simply the result of repeated failure. And even now, I'm still working and failing to achieve mastery in so many different fields. And although I see failures as an important catalyst in the process of achieving mastery, I'm only 18 years old, and I have not really experienced any failures more devastating than losing money in Bitcoin. This is precisely why I figured that I should reach out to someone with ample time on their hands and someone who has made mistakes greater than I. I'm not sure how to put this. I found a random prisoner and mailed him a letter. In the letter, I enlisted his help in writing this speech. And to my surprise, he had quite a lot to say. Here's just some of what he sent back. In order to become the architect of your own life, you must create a blueprint, a plan. Most architects, when designing their structures, use a pencil for their blueprints. Why do they use a pencil when they have a toolbox complete with diversified tools? They use a pencil so that they can erase and make modifications. A man who uses pen is certain. A man that yields a compass is precise. My mistakes have helped me to realize that I am far from perfect, and if I were to erase those mistakes, I would no longer be myself. You may need to make modifications in the future, which is why you need to master every tool in life that you can. You are the architect of your own life, the possibilities are limitless. I realize today that the worst thing that can happen to me is being alive and never truly living. Now, upon my initial reading of that letter, I had two thoughts. Firstly, he must really have a knack for architecture and design. Maybe I'll mail him a chisel and a sculpting knife and see what he can build. Secondly, where the hell did that come from? I was not expecting such an eloquent response. Now, obviously, it is crucial to make mistakes on the way to mastery, but if I may suggest one thing, maybe don't let your mistakes land you in prison. But if somehow they do, at least try to be like this guy. So, while mistakes may accelerate the process of achieving mastery, it is by no means a quick journey. I mean, do you think that Reese Joint mastered the game of football in one night? Maybe. Or how about Nolan Yates? Do you think that he just woke up one day and mastered the art of farming? Hell no. A combination of mistakes, persistence, and time will result in achieving mastery. But some people see mastery as unattainable, something you had to have been born with, a skill set impossible to develop later on in life. That is simply not true. The power of mastery is within us all. Now, before my speech is over, I would like to make some acknowledgments. Firstly, I would like to say that getting here was difficult, but when your best friend is the valedictorian, there is always someone to answer your questions. So thank you for that, Ryan. But more importantly, I would like to give an extreme thank you to my family, specifically to my mother, who I am incredibly grateful for. Mom, you have acted selflessly for the last 18 years and would do anything for your 3 children. Good luck and congratulations to the class of 2021. I now pass the microphone to our class president, George Walker.